Squatties, can you hear me? Squatties, can you hear me? No, it's not the movie Yento. It's Royal Sussex. Gentle. Yeah, that's the name of it. Is Gentle. All right. Annie Bennett, you were here first. Thank you so much. Wow. Let me see. Bunch of people here already. Thank you so much for that. Wow. Oh, all right. Make himself comfortable. Lorna Williams, hello. Panther, Thea, Compton, Cali Gal, Manello, Lydia Washington, Beverly McCaskill. Let's see here. Darlene Cotton, Sharon Augustine, Maggie Margaret, hello. And let's see here. You know what? I better just scroll through. Hey, Joan Commonwealther. I'm going to keep scrolling. Fancy. Rochelle Badreau, Deidre Monkey, Lady E, Noreen Lovelock. Okay, let's get caught up. Just making sure there were no super chats or super stickers to acknowledge. I don't see any, so hey, Mo Shannon. Legs is here, very cool. Ozell Dunlap. All right, so thank you guys so much. Sorry for the delay, but oh man. Okay. Hi, Rohini. I don't want to hold you guys in suspense, but I told you guys one of the ways that I have managed to maintain my sanity with the Twitter is that I usually don't engage or respond. Well, guess what? Today, I engaged, and oh boy, did I respond. So, and as you have watched Royal Sussex for a while, most of you, you do know that sometimes when I feel that surge of creativity, I have to go with it, and it seems to get all my attention. Otherwise, I had a very productive night last night. I had to go through and label and try to organize some things for the Royal Sussex so that when I need things, I can easily find them. And anyway, that's very necessary to make sure that things run smoothly and that I can respond in kind, like I did on the Twitter. But I'll share that with you later. I'll just say this for now. I'm not particularly proud of myself, but it's like the singer, satirist, and sometimes rapper Millie Jackson would say. For those of you who don't know me, one thing is for sure: you won't effing forget me. Uh-oh, let me turn this off. Now, let me see. There's only one thing that can make today weird, and that is a delivery. So if if I have to go, I can't miss it because, well, as you know, there's something called a porch pirate these days. So hopefully that won't happen. But you know what? Maybe I better get a video ready just in case I need to bust a move. You want it, you got it, you want it, baby. Just bust a move. Uh-huh. And when I say bust a move, I don't mean like Aunt Viv on Fresh Prince bust a move, but bust a move. All right. So anyway, let's get on with it. That's enough of that Who Shot John. So as you know, guys, I have avoided this um because it's exhausting. And just like a slasher movie, no matter what happens, whether you smash, what is it, Jason or whoever it is, one of those slasher movies. Remember the one where the slasher was smashed over the head with the television and he's all shaking and going in convulsions. And next thing you know, he's back up on his feet again. Well, that is how I would describe the sister. No matter what you do, no matter what is said, no matter, there's no position that is too low that person would not sink to it. So I've been avoiding it. But you can see here it says this baseless and absurd lawsuit is just a continuation of a pattern of disturbing behavior. We will give it the minimum attention necessary, which is all it deserves, Meghan's lawyer said when the lawsuit was filed. Lawyers for the two were in court this week, where the judge appeared to be siding with Meghan. During the hearing, he told her, uh, that person's lawyer, he was struggling to see how Meghan's comments defamed it. The case was taken under advisement and no ruling has been made as of yet. But the important thing is, Judge rules Meghan Markle doesn't have to turn over private emails with Meghan to have sister in bitter court war for now. And of course, there is, the asterisk with for now. So for now, as things stand, um, is not leaning in that direction. So I would say that for now things are not trending in that direction. And so that should be a, small bit of relief for the time being. But God bless America that there's a court system where you can actually have your voice heard if you feel as though you have been slandered or defamed or wronged. But it's also possible that a lot of nonsense makes its way through the dockets, and we have situations like this. And I have to say that especially when it comes to minorities, and in particular Black men, most days in court end in a plea bargain. There's so few cases that ever go to trial, especially for poor um, people of color in urban areas. And then, of course, the incarceration rate for African American men is so much disproportionate in comparison to the rest of the population. Like, for instance, Ferguson, Missouri, I recall hearing that a white reporter found himself in a very rare situation. He was in a traffic court, but he said that he noticed that when he looked around and took a survey of the room, just a little visual view of the room to see what the demographics were, it wasn't lost on him that most of them were Black. And what's really disappointing is that the majority of people in Ferguson, Missouri, were of African descent, but yet they were barely represented in any area of government. And, for that, I can't really blame anybody outside of the community for that, because you have the vote, but there was, you can, I don't even want to try to figure out how that happened, but they had the majority of people, and yet they were getting the short end of the stick. They were losing the highest amount of their wealth compared to anybody else in town to subsidize this court system, this police department, and everything that suppressed them for years. So when you know better, you do better. But it's amazing that you could have so many people never have a real day in court, but yet someone like this person could actually file a suit and get global recognition over a bunch of nonsense. So, as much as I love to say that, and I do love my country, and I do believe there's so many things that's great about this country, and compared to other people in the world, I don't feel like I have a right to complain. But this one, I'm going to complain. This is such nonsense. And the fact that something like this, they have time for it in a court of law when you have poor Black young people who can either plea and do the time or take your chances with a trial. So of course, the so-called public defenders, they make it almost impossible for you to say anything but "I'll take the plea," and yeah, it's like a tale of two justice systems, the way it looks. But anyway, I've always said, and my apologies to anybody in Florida, but I've always said that Florida is a bad luck state. I wish there was just some way that we could, um, you know, give that away and like pick up Switzerland or something. Uh, Not that Switzerland would have us, but there's a lot of places that I would love to adopt. As a matter of fact, Puerto Rico has been in a bit of a limbo, a protectorate of the United States, not a state and not an independent nation. I'd rather pick up Puerto Rico. I mean, after all, if you've ever been to Puerto Rico, I haven't, but I know a lot of people from Puerto Rico. When it comes to my little petty who's hot and who's not scale, I would say that we would definitely we would definitely, make out big time if we can pick up Puerto Rico and trade it for Florida. So yeah, there's some hotties in Puerto Rico. So I that's just my fantasy. I'd take Puerto Rico and just set Florida adrift. I mean, election problems, Florida. Um, Alien Gonzalez, remember that? Florida. Trayvon Martin, Florida. It's always Florida. And where does the Orange Menace live? Florida. Florida. It's always Florida. It just seems like it's always bad luck with Florida. They got the jinx. See, this is what happens when you mess with, people who. Where was Rosewood? That was Florida. So you see what I mean? Let's just set it adrift, pick up Puerto Rico because they're hot. And of course, as we do pick up Puerto Rico, you know what I say? No chubbies. It's important. I'm always the only fat one in the bed. So no chubbies. They could stay with the rest of Florida. But H Knight, I am very aware of their demography, and I know that they are ultra conservative. They think that the Democrats are Marxist, Leninists, what is it, Leninists and communists. So that particular population in Florida irks me to no end. So um, it doesn't matter because they as a group, they tend to vote in the wrong direction. They're convinced that and I don't hide it from anybody. You guys know that I'm a super Democrat, super liberal. I toe the party line, all of those things. So, what could I say? When those people in South Florida start voting the right way, I will feel better about things. And I know some people down there, and it's not like, trust me, I know some people down there. I could travel there right now and have a place to stay if I needed it. But they vote the right way, and some people don't. Okay, so let's see. What do you guys say to me? Annie Bullard says, "Okay, Baron, lay off Florida, even if we are are a racket state." Yeah, I tell you that the Al Gore election, I still am wounded by Al Gore. That oh boy, don't even get me started talking about Al Gore. But yeah, that's when I first identified things as problematic, and I started shopping around for places that we can trade. Oh boy. But I tell you what, guys, you can look this up if you want to. When I was a kid, the first time I'd ever been on a plane, I went to Disney World. And of course, that's in Orlando. And I stayed at this modular hotel that was called the Hotel Court of Flags, the Hotel Court of Flags. And I think it may have a different name now, but the way it was constructed, it was like a bunch of compartments that were like bound together or something, very modernistic and everything. um that is where I stayed in Florida, so I had some good memories before things got weird. Okay, so let's move on before I have you guys noticed though that DeSantis, his arms don't actually lay close to his side? It always seems like he can't put his arms down, like he's wearing a corset or something. Have you guys noticed that? He just can't seem to put those arms down. And it's like the other weird thing is that the back of his hands face forward, not out to the side like most people, but when his hands are down, the back of his hands face forward, and the back of his hand, faces the person behind him. I just thought that was rather awkward, don't you? Ron DeSantis cannot put his arms down. It's like he's sucking on an air hose or something. Yeah, but I guess presidential candidates with an odd build seem to. I guess if you're a little portly man with an odd build and you have your eyes set on the Oval Office, then you probably have some property down there. Uh, woo! Okay, okay. I don't know how I got on that topic. Let me see if I can find a picture of him right now. But yeah, he's just got that rather odd build about himself. I'm going to search Ron DeSantis' arms. Um, oh, man. Yeah, it's just odd because he can't seem to put his arms down to his side. And he does come a little close, but then at the same time, they don't really come in at all. So he's in a constant state of about to play the piano or something. I will say it is or something, but what an odd little man that Ron DeSantis is. And I tell you guys, I know that I was wrong about the Orange Menace, but this guy just cannot be president. He cannot. He's just so wrong on so many levels. Wait, on a cellular level, how's that? He's wrong on a cellular level. Um, oh man, there's already over 1,000 people in here. That is so cool. I am so touched. Let's see here. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. And my apologies in advance to anyone from Florida. If you go back and listen, you're going to find that things got kind of weird. Um, you'll find that things that got just a little bit weird, but what could I say? Man, where did that go? Where did that go? Let me see here. Oh, by the way, I know some of you guys have mentioned that you haven't been able to comment. I'm going to try to address that tonight, I promise. There are some people who have been trying to comment and they have not been able to do so. So I will try to address that tonight. Okay, see what I mean? See what I mean? He can't put his arms down to his side. Is he holding his stomach in? Oh man, it is so bizarre. Um, Very odd, very odd. It's like he's like about to play piano or do surgery or something. I think it's or something. Could you imagine a person who is going to work on his wax figure? If he ever makes it into Madame Tussauds, that is going to be a very strange thing for whoever has the task of creating his likeness. But oh, thank you so much, Elaine Parker. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday to you. TGIF. Okay, so let's move on. That's enough of him. This guy was actually on some program. He was talking about the case, and if I was Meghan, I would be very afraid if I was her. I would be very in his most pompous tone ever, and everything about him is just like some kind. He looks cartoonish. He sounds buffoonish. Yeah, and truly, one of the squatties said, "It amazes me how all Megan haters look like an animated cartoon. Why is that? I didn't know Gargamel from Smurfs had a brother." But yeah, and yes, he does look constipated. He looks like he can't wait to get home and give himself an enema. Everything about him says, "I just cannot wait to get home and give myself an enema." Um, if he does like have any hired help, I'm pretty sure that he phones ahead from the studio. Have my enema ready. Um, do us a good turn, mate. Have my. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, he would call himself being an expert on the legal system here in the United States. And of course, it doesn't really get clicks or engagement if you don't try to convince people that the Sussexes are in some dire situation at all times. So let me know how that works out for you. But the Sussexes are thriving and surviving, and apparently they have someone new working on their financial portfolio. And as they said, the Sussexes were likely to be billionaires in their lifetime. You guys, Harry and Meghan, they have barely scratched the surface when it comes to what they're capable of and what's available to them. They have barely scratched the surface. We are only getting this, how do they say it? Getting this porty started. We are only just getting this porty started. So ignore the naysayers. It ain't all that serious as they try to make it seem, but it's just incredible. How do you have, on the one hand, someone who wants you to believe that Megan is literally sitting there biting her nails, but yet everything they touch seems to have paid off big time. They have not put a foot wrong since they left Narnia. Um, they are far better off than I would suppose the courtiers and their families thought they would be at this point. Well, I won't say their families, but that particular side of the family, and of course the family in the UK. Um, not the, you know, not uh, Dora's peeps, not that family, who still, by the way, have remained the very model of dignity throughout this entire situation. Bonsoir, Charlotte. Mais este miserable imbeciles. Um, and that's exactly what they have done. And they are moochers and lack intelligence and personalities. You're absolutely right. And thank you so much for setting the record straight, Charlotte, and many happy returns of the day. Um, yeah, the people that have tried to convince us that the Sussexes are at their wits' ends and that they do nothing but roam the halls at night like the ghost of Christmas past or something. That's just not the case. They have a very effective team around them. So, anyway, thank you, Charlotte. Oh, what's that? The suit is too. I would love to hear someone with like a really, really cute Italian accent say, "The suit is too small." like a haberdasher from the old country who could say in like the most adorable way, DeSantis, this suit is too small, and and your arms are on a backwards. He really does look like someone took his arms off, and well, I don't know, maybe someone that I'm thinking of may have taken his arms off and used it for something weird. And then when he went to pin them back on, he just, he didn't pin them back on right. Anyway, that was weird even for me. Okay. The suit is a bit small. Oh man, I gotta stop. But what can I say? It's Friday. That governor looks like a robot. Yeah, he does. It kind of does look like he's doing the robot. Right, right. Like he's listening to the Jackson Five, dancing, dancing, dance machine. Watch me get down, and then of course the breakbeat. Oh man. Okay, I got to stop. I don't want you guys to think that I've had some of Church Nelly's magic elixir while I was prepping for today. Nothing could be further from the truth. I have maintained a life of sobriety and, well, I was going to say dignity, but anyway, I have maintained a life of sobriety. Dignity, I'm still working on. I don't know how dignified it's been, but sobriety, yes. Yes, sobriety, check. Dignity, depends on what's involved. Let me see here. Good evening, Baron. Sharon, thank you so much. That is a beautiful picture of Prince Harry and Princess Meghan in the blue and white pinstripe with the white shirt and scarf. Oh yeah, that's from when they were at the World Trade Center. This one, right? No, is that the one? I don't remember now. I think that was it. Yeah. But let's see here. Thank you so much for being here. Black Queen says, Baron, oh yes, Donatella Limon and Whoopi Goldberg catching heat for talking about when women were in their prime being sexy. They want, let me see, they want his head. Okay, they want his like head on the platter. Okay. Whoops talking about blacks don't need reparations, karma. Oh, Whoopi, Whoopi, what are you doing? Now, Donatella, I heard that she had to apologize. I'm sorry, they had to apologize because, you know, I'm not saying that I believe that Donatella doesn't like women, but Donatella just seems to, you know, I'm trying to put this as delicately as possible. Donatella told me, not told me, but turned me off a long time ago because of those exchanges that he has a real problem with his conversation with women, and it always seems to come off a bit condescending. And that is something that is going to continue to get him in trouble. But yet, when you have someone like Officer Fanone, who was attacked at the Capitol building in Washington on January 6th, then all of a sudden he just as sweet as he could be and just as polite and considerate and thoughtful. And it's the same way when if you ever see him, back in the day when he was on there with what's the governor's brother? Um, that guy. When he was on there with him, when he's got a guy on, he always seems to be like putty in their hands. But if there's a woman, especially a woman who asserts herself, then he seems to be a bit cagey and Chris Cuomo, thank you so much, Joanne Baker. He seems to be a bit cagey and confrontational and, as I say, condescending. So I don't, let me tell you like this. I don't watch that punk enough to really know how he acts. But Donatella, on the few occasions that I have seen I have found they wanting in their character. And so they has been a big turnoff for me for a long time. So, um, you know, I would say that if 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 his approach was a little more, um, shall we say, dignified, like Anderson Cooper, then But I'm telling you, if you guys have seen that, let me know. But that punk has been a big turn off for me for a long time, and I just did not. If I would see that face, I'm like, oh, Donatella, and I would just turn the TV. I just turn it. I couldn't be bothered with they. And as for Whoopi, um, I've noticed this about Whoopi for a long time, Black Queen. I'm appreciate you. I didn't, see either one of these situations directly, but as I've known things over the years, Whoopi, sometimes I feel like some of the things that she says is like it's not in sharp focus, and parts of it seems like it's either missing or the words are not coming out in a way that is very helpful to her. Um, you know, I sometimes Whoopi can be right on the mark, right? But I would say for a few years, I have struggled to really listen to Whoopi because she seems to be um, a bit confrontational with the side of things that I probably would have thought she was, in alignment with, only to find out that it's like, how do I put it? She lets her own side down, if you know what I mean. Um, yeah, I'm choosing my words carefully, but she's disappointed me a bit for quite some time. And when she had a talk show of her own, it did not work out. Being on The View is about the only format where she could actually be on a talk show, but being on the talk show by herself didn't work out because sometimes she would just say things that would alienate people or kind of piss people off. And yeah, so between the two of them, I can't be bothered. I don't like panel shows anyway because I feel like they're only there to brainwash, and I feel like they're just there to throw propaganda in. It's like they don't really want to advance anything, pro or con. The only thing is they try to make you dependent on their so-called points of view. But I don't feel like anything is ever settled. And if anything ever happens, that, like for instance, Kellyanne Conway, I get the idea that you want to be fair and balanced, but having a propaganda person on there like Kellyanne Goebbels is nothing but trouble because it it gives all the talking points to the other side, and the people that are supposed to make it balanced never gets the word in edgewise. How do you invite somebody on the show and they can't even and you don't even get to really defend my side of things? So yeah, again, let me just move on. I'm choosing my words carefully. I respect them as journalist, comedian, EGOT, and all that kind of stuff, but I ain't got time for them. I think they are very, very disappointing. And I'm really disappointed with Whoopi. Donatella, I never expected nothing from that punk anyway. But thank you so much, Black Queen, and thank you for being here on this Friday. Let's see. Let us continue to Prince Harry and Meghan. Is it pray for Prince Harry and Meghan? Okay, for them to be victorious on all legal cases brought against them. The case with her so-called half sister, Meghan will be victorious. Amen to that, Beverly Isidore. All right, so let me get back over here. I'm going to take a scroll through here very fast. Yes. Thank you so much for that, Eva. Meghan had happiness and Harry was miserable. Now the only happiness they have is her mom, Doria, and each other, along with the Squatties and their beautiful children. Yeah, now I think things are complete for Harry. You know, as much as he says he misses his family back there, time will sort that out for him. Oh, thank you so much for the super sticker, Nissagate. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, I forgot I had this. Yeah, this was the other slide I had for that situation. Why do I get the feeling, should I say, why does my imagination tell me he's looking for his newspaper while he's in the loo? It's a monster. Oh gosh, that face, that pitiful, long, elongated, jowl-filled face, a face that has cursed 1,000 ships. A face that has broke 1,000 hips, because when you see that face in your panic to get away, there's a good chance you might fall and break something. So that is a face that has broke 1,000 hips. Okay, so on to this. Alison Hammond is going to host the BAFTA Awards. You heard me. Allison, who it looks like she's been losing weight. She's all fit and trim and ready to handle just about anything. I just saw that past messing up her legacy. Not Allison, the EGOT winner. But yeah, so she's going to host the BAFTA Award. Let me just say, I've always thought that was one of the most beautiful trophies. I get a big kick out of these trophies. I love the Emmy, the Screen Actors Guild. I'm a big fan of those trophies. To me, they're, well, they are works of art. So the only thing is, I got a feeling that poor Allison is being, and not to take anything away from her talent. Amen to that. Just go make some movies. She's been on that show a long time. She's kind of lost her edge, and so has Joy Behar. It is time to move on. I'm sorry. I need to stay on this, but I got to stop looking at the chats. Yes, Donatella is insecure, and it comes out in they conversation, and Whoopi has spent too much time. Yes, exactly. It's time to move on. Kim Brown, 10 months membership. Thank you so much for 10 months membership, Kim Brown. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, I'm moving on from that. Wait, one more. Whoopi don't have anything to worry about. She's got money and she needs lives in a she lives in a fancy house, and so she doesn't care anymore about her people, which is our people. Let's just say it how it is. Verda Sanchez, Everything has a shelf life. Everything has a shelf life. And at a certain point, it's time to move on. Um, I believe Whoopi's had a, oh, sorry about the bell. I believe she's had a near death experience, and that changes a person's personality. And it, along with whatever else she's been going through, I'm trying to, look at this with a wide angle lens. She's had a rough few years, and she nearly lost her life. And some days she comes across as very irritable and combative. And I would just as sooner see her go and do something else before. I mean, she's come close to losing her job, what, a couple of times? If you guys ever saw the movie Jumpin' Jack Flash, Roscoe Lee Brown said, "Miss Doolittle, amateur night is over. It's best to leave the stage before you have to be carried off." Do you remember that? You remember that? Roscoe Lee Brown said, "Amateur night is over. It's best to leave the stage before you have to be carried off." So, Whoopi, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, go and look. Go and look at your movie. What's the name of it? Jumpin' Jack Flash. And forward to that part where Roscoe is, I think it's Roscoe Lee Brown. He said, "Miss Doolittle, amateur night is over." Well, of course, no offense to her. She's not an amateur. But but it's probably your best time on that show may be behind you. That's it. That's it. But okay, and this, since we're on this topic, I didn't plan for, but I seem to have a lot to say too. Um, when you have a large family, even Betty Davis found herself working up until the end because she had people to care for. Uh, her mother, her mother lived as well as she did. If you've ever heard the story, Betty Davis's mother had her own house. Anything that Betty Davis owned, her mother always got the better. It was like Betty Davis was living as though she wasn't the real breadwinner like her mother was. Her mother got the best of everything, even above what she was able to have. And I know, let's see, I think even Joan Collins, who has gotten on my nerves as of late, she has, I believe she has a disabled child, or she had nearly lost a child at some time. Well, she had to work no matter what. And so that's the powerful motivation to stay in when one ought to step away. So, yeah, she does have plenty money, but I think at a certain point, Verta, they try to fatten up the pot as much as they can in anticipation. And don't forget, Whoopi had that. Didn't she have like a really bad divorce settlement where she ended up having to give a lot of her own money away? I think that happened to her too. So she's had some times, here and there, but still, um, if she's not careful, they're going to walk her out of that studio. Um, you know, and she could leave a hero, or she can wait around and wait for the worst to happen. Maybe she just shouldn't moderate anymore. I don't know. But whatever happens, I wish her the best, and I hope she knows when it's time to leave. Thank you, Berta. I've been watching Abuse since day one. They give Whoopi things to say, but since she's brought the what is that? Brought the movie till the screen. It seems people have found reasons for anything she says. Joy, nothing. Yeah, I mean, I definitely believe that Whoopi is a bigger lightning rod than Joy Behar. Whoopi gets the worst of it in terms of who they choose to attack. And, you know, it could be race, it could be a lot of things, but um, like I say, sometimes Whoopi's comments, she will blurt out something as they're going to commercial, and what she's trying to get out, I feel like she rushes it, and it comes out in the worst possible way. It's like an epic fail. So maybe that's part of it, not the whole story, but sometimes I think she has one thing in her head and what comes out of her mouth barely resembles, I think, the point that she's trying to make. I think. I don't watch it enough to know how she's been lately, but I just know I no more View for me. Deirdre, Mikey, where did you go? I just saw you and then I lost you. How did I do that? Oh boy, I'm like way behind in comments. Now I can't find you. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna have to do a big scroll. Dorothy Ross, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for being here. And Black Queen, I am trying to move on, but here we go. Yes, they kicked her to the curb. Then Barbara found her out in fields and brought her back from a steering. I don't even know where that came from. I'm gonna just I'm gonna move on. But I'm not sure what that means, but I'm gonna pass. But by the way, Dorothy Ross, thank you so much for being a member. Oh man, I'm gonna have to get caught up because did something else come out on the View today, and I didn't hear about it? Is that what happened? Because now you got me curious, and I feel like I missed something really big, and I kind of want to know what it is. Um, uh-oh. Ooh. Off-duty female cop. Ooh, she took out this guy that tried to rob her. Well, he messed with the wrong one. They got it on video, too. Huh. Okay. All right, you guys. I'm going to move on to the next thing. All right. Thank you so much, Black Queen. And thank you, everybody, for your comments. Didn't I see Duchess of Success? I thought I saw her when I was scrolling through. But anyway, hi, Anne. If you're here, happy Friday to you. Okay. Things are piling up. So I got to go. But yes, Allison is going to, what do you call it? She's going to host the BAFTAs. I can't help but think, and I'm not even going to look at the chats while I say this. I can't help but think, uh-huh. Leave me alone, Shirley. I'm okay. What is it? And it was stated how that one day Whoopi went over to see her and had to leave her house. Really? What? Is that right? Okay. That's interesting. All right. I'm so what I wanted to say is I think that, and I don't want to believe this, and I think Allison is very talented. People like her, people love her. But is this just to help out the Cambridges, the Waleses, or whatever? Are they really just bringing her in to host because with her humor, with her way of connecting with the crowd, is this just some kind of way to make sure that they look more human and more down to earth and approachable by having Allison host the show? That's what I'm thinking. Because the last time that Workshop Will and Duchess Doolittle, now Who is Allison? I'm sorry, she's a morning show host over on at the UK. I think she does This Morning sometime. I remember they sometime. Well, when I first saw her, she was like out at a walkabout with Harry and Meghan, and Harry was like walking toward her, and Harry, give us a cuddle, and Harry just ignored her because it was a bit over the top. So she's fun. Now I'm gonna tell you, as much as I like her, I didn't like when they were talking about Spare, and they were talking about that thing that you guys know I have not talked about, even though it's been all over the place. But that last big thing about Spare that I just refused to talk about, she laughed and rocked back and forth on the couch and laughed. And I was like I'm like, okay, girl, that's about enough. Because how I feel about the Sussexes, I felt a bit irritated by her laughing like that. So you know what I'm saying? I kind of look at her a little bit with a side eye. But otherwise, she's a lovable person. She's good at her job. And to be honest with you, I'm amazed that as a black woman and a big girl, let's face it, she was a big girl for a long time. She's lost a lot of weight now. Um, like Oprah said, you didn't necessarily see a person like me on television. And so given the way politics is in the UK, I'm surprised that she is, doing so well on television. But then again, some things can transcend race. And when you're familiar to people, then they don't see you as a threat, or they don't see you as pro this or pro that, especially if you play your cards right. And for the most part, she plays it straight down the middle and doesn't really make any waves that I'm aware of. So, yeah, but I just kind of think that they are going to use her to try to, you know, build up their own brand as the newly minted Prince and Princess of Wales. So I kind of hate that she's going there. But then again, I don't want to judge the situation because I'm so biased in favor of the Sussexes. But I don't want her to be exploited for the sake of the Prince and Princess of Wales. That would really irritate me. And so this was when they were there. Was this the last visit? I think this was the last time they were at the BAFTA Awards. The people did not applaud. When they walked in, it was dead silence. It was so quiet you could hear a rat piss on cotton. It was super, super quiet. And so, as you can see, William is looking like, huh, well, that's interesting. I mean, look at the steps behind them. They came all the way down the steps. Do you see anybody with their hands applauding their entrance? So this is kind of like hostile territory for them. Um, as much as most of those people in those rooms like that love their OBEs and MBEs and all those other alphabets, as much as they love that, they could not bring themselves to applaud the entrance. So I'm surprised they're going back. So the last time William actually did something by Zoom or satellite or whatever, claiming that there was some conflict with their schedule. There was a conflict with their schedule. These are the two most unenthused, work shy, lazy, non-working people that has ever, been the Prince and Princess of Wales. I mean, they totally lack any ambition in life. How is it they were too busy to go to the BAFTA Awards? How are you too busy for the BAFTAs? Unless you're isolating because you have the pandemic symptoms, how are you isolating? I mean, how is there a conflict? You're what is he, the president of the BAFTA Awards, whatever honorary title he has? So he didn't want to go because there was this idea that they were going to walk in for what, the second or third time? I think it was like the third or fourth time, whatever it was. And the people were going to stand there like they were in Madame Tussauds and just not applaud. I mean, when they walked in there, it was like the terracotta warriors. They walked in, nobody blinked, nobody moved, there was nothing. It was like the terracotta warriors of China. It was a whole nother dynasty, if you will. I mean, seriously, look at the crowd. Look at the terracotta warriors. It's like Madame Tussauds. No blinks, no gestures, not even a twitch. Everybody stood motionless like there was predators creeping past them. Like squirrels. You know how the squirrels stop moving because they don't think you could see them? Oh, man. Oh, boy. So that is what I thought they would avoid. But for some reason, they think that this is the year to make their triumphant return. And now that they have Allison on board, they're probably going to interact with Allison, and there's going to be like some kind of little joke or something like that. They know exactly what they're doing. Ginger Lily says, Baron, I'm sorry. Hello, Baron. How are you trying to say the audience is giving them the Priyanka Chopra treatment? Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's Priyanka Chopra. They except they didn't have scarves. That's what they should do. They give everybody in that room a little scarf to wear. Give everybody in the room a scarf, right? Just say it's for charity or something, but give everybody a scarf and allow them to do their Priyanka Chopra. Oh man, that I would pay good money for that. As a matter of fact, I would do a fundraiser to make sure that everyone had their scarf, so that as soon as they enter the room, they can start adjusting like crazy. Oh man, I must have watched that 1,000 times, Priyanka Chopra, and I think there's someone on Twitter that calls themselves Priyanka's. Was it Priyanka? Yeah, Priyanka's scarf. They call their that's their Twitter name is Priyanka's scarf. So, okay, let's get up. Oh, there it is right there. There it is right there. Since we're on the subject, and by the way, thank you so much for the super chat. Since we're on that topic, why don't we, huh? Why don't we? Why wouldn't we, should I say? There we go. Okay, I don't want to do the whole thing. I just want to get to that part where she walks in. Let me see. Oh man, I don't think that's the right one. Oh, there we go. There we go. Contact. While he may conduct himself like he's already a sovereign, we don't have to treat him that way. And so when that happened, John McEnroe said, because people were saying that people were being disrespectful to Will and Kate. Well, actually, Will and Kate, they ran in. Well, actually, they didn't run. They walked in there late, and I think they were holding up the match for them. And so by the time they came in, most people were, just about over the idea that they were going to be there. And so nobody applauded them. And likewise, when William came in, he did not make an effort, nor did Kate. Neither one of them made an effort to, reach over and greet anybody. They just came in, and Priyanka. Oh my goodness, I cannot find it. Yeah, Priyanka, when she saw them coming, she just looked the other way like, oh, this is a cute scarf. And so since then, I have been madly, and there's Priyanka back there. You can see her on the left side there. Since that time, I have been madly in love with Priyanka for giving the shade. Oh man, I keep missing it. There we go. Priyanka scarf, adjust, touchdown. Priyanka scarf, adjust, touchdown. One more time. This is how you do it. Wait. Wait for it. Okay, so the people in the back applauded, but people like Billie Jean King, the people sitting closest to them, they did not applaud them. And some of the royalist sycophants were upset about that the most, VIP people sitting there did not applaud. So there you go. But yeah, Allison, they're using you, girl. They're using you. So, on to some good news here. To honor the long ignored worth of the 6888 has been the greatest privilege of my career thus far. So you could see Tyler Perry right there in his very modern day clothes while he's interacting and then finally posing for a photo. This is a Netflix project that he was hired to remind people how the mostly African American, well, actually, these were all African American. Can I call them soldiers? Anyway, they were in charge of the mail. Now, today, of course, it's like, okay, today we assume that you can call from the front lines, or you can, how do I put it? You can text from the front line. But back in those days, that wasn't possible. Nowadays, of course, it's easy to do. But in those days, in order to save morale, the best way to keep people sane under those circumstances was to make sure that they got the letters from home. They could write letters to home and they could receive letters. So no matter how far you were into enemy territory or how entrenched you were, if there was a way to bring the mail to you, they would do it. So sometimes people in the trenches would literally, open up the letters, stick them in their pockets or in their bags or whatever. And it was a way to make sure that you had some connection to home. And so these African American women, as part of their war effort, they, went over. It's not 6,888. That's the name of the regiment. They went over to Europe, and they, went into different areas and stuff where they would make sure that the mail from home was processed and sent to the front lines whenever possible. So there you go. Let me see here. You're having trouble with the super sticker and or super chat. Well, there's always the Cash App or the PayPal. But I mean, if it's not working for you, don't worry about it. But yeah, you could actually do those, but it wouldn't show up on the screen. But anyway, I appreciate the effort. And then here you can see Kerry Washington and what is it? Ebony Asidian lead an all-star cast in telling the inspiring true story of the incredible and brave women of the only all-black, all-female World War II battalion. Oh, not a regiment, a battalion. Come on, come on. So there you have it. So this ought to be a great movie. I am looking forward to it. And I tell you, the production quality that they have at Netflix has been amazing. So looking forward to it. And of course, this is a Tyler Perry production. So you know it's going to be made with much love and a great deal of consideration. So good looking out, Netflix. This makes me glad that I have never closed my Netflix account. All these years, I've had this account probably since maybe 2010, maybe 2010. And even when I don't watch it, somebody in the family's watching it. So I just hang on to it. So yeah, now I feel like this makes me feel very good about that. That, and of course, the Sussexes. So that's that. Let me see. Dorothy Ross says that will be worth watching. Yes, it will. I can't wait. I can't wait. And then, of course, this Tyler Perry story. Can't get enough of this. Tyler Perry is donating $750,000 to pay senior citizens property taxes that live near his Atlanta film studio. The donation will ensure residents will not have to move away from their homes due to gentrification. So, if you've ever been in a situation where they gentrified your area, it can be very, very upsetting. All of a sudden, the property taxes go up. You might lose your favorite little hole in the wall restaurant, and it may be replaced by, some high end restaurant, or, your local supermarket may suddenly become more expensive with things you're not familiar with or don't care for. So those kind of things can, make life difficult. And so gentrification is nice that, maybe the neighborhood's safer. Maybe some of those eyesores are removed or, restored. But the property taxes is a nightmare. So with his studio, of course, a lot of people who work for Tyler Perry want to be near his studio. A lot of people who work at the studio, well, there's new restaurants opening up and new opportunities and such. So yeah, the property taxes go up. So he is doing something to make sure that people can stay in their homes. And I always get very sad when I see an older person who has been in the same house for 40 years suddenly have to move. 50 years, suddenly they have to move. And it seemed like after they move, it's like they go into a decline. It's like they go into a decline. It's bad enough that, some of your neighbors are gone. But then now you have to leave the house and all of its memories. Very sad thing. So God bless you, Tyler Perry. So here it says Tyler Perry to donate $2.5 million to help older Atlanta homeowners. Now, this is the part that I missed about the story last time. I saw the, 750,000, but I didn't know that this was a much bigger thing. Perry ranked third among the world's highest paid entertainers by Forbes, will pay the back property taxes for 300 low-income seniors in Atlanta. Now that is huge. That is generational wealth. That is generational wealth that may be saved, I believe, for their ancestors, or I'm sorry, for their children, for their offspring, their whoever. That's money that will be saved and kept within the family because when that person moves on, when they pass away, I hate to say it, but when they pass away, at least they have something to leave instead of letting the taxes, take the house away from the family. So at least there's something of value that is still there. Now, what the kids do with it, that's another story. Let me see. Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry is donating 2.75 million to older homeowners in Atlanta to help ensure they're able to stay in their homes. A few weeks ago, Perry reached out to Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, I didn't know that that was the name of the mayor, about providing assistance for those residents on fixed income who could lose their homes as a result of rising real estate taxes, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported. Perry ranked them up. All right, we know that he ranked. Forbes is, is going to pay the back property tax. Okay, got that already. And then here it says, the assistance will cover city, county, and school taxes. Perry will also cover any increase in taxes over the next 20 years for low income, 100, that is, low income older residents. He has already donated $750,000 for the first year to cover the back taxes and any increased property taxes, and has pledged $500,000 each year over the next 4 years to ensure the residents don't pay any more in such taxes. The fund will be administered by Invest Atlanta Partnership and nonprofit wing of the Atlanta's Economic Development Authority. So cool. That is just a beautiful thing. I hate to see when older people have to leave their homes. That is always heartbreaking. I saw a story about that in San Francisco one time, where this lady was, I think, in her 80s, and she, the person who owned the property did not want to rent to her anymore. They just wanted her out. They were trying to get her out by raising the rent through the ceiling, and and so there were people who were trying to fight to help her stay in her home, but the temptation for that money was just too great. Gosh, that's delicious. I love when water tastes sweet. It's so good, it tastes sweet. Yes, better to give than receive. Dorothy Ross, I tell you, you guys have made this Christmas for me like probably the biggest Christmas I've ever had in terms of gifts since I was a kid, really, since I was a kid. And there's been a lot of years where I gave gifts, but I did not get very many. And I didn't care because I felt I was blessed to be in a position to actually do something. That means more to me to be able to help someone be remembered and feel good at Christmas time than, anything that I could ever receive. I would rather give those things than to receive them. So that's very important, not even just for Christmas, but any time of the year. It's good to be in a position where you can do something and give something back. So if you guys are interested in doing something, it doesn't have to be that big. It just has to be. That's the only thing that's necessary. So I have a couple of projects. I hate to call it philanthropy because it's not that big, but for my income level, it's thoughtful. I'll say it's thoughtful, and I'm glad to do it. I'm glad to do it, and I have got nothing but blessings in return. Not that that was the point, but it feels good. It feels good, like the book drive. That felt amazing. I don't usually organize stuff like that. So if it wasn't for Lydia, if it wasn't for Lydia, it wouldn't have been as interesting as it was. I'll put it to you like that. So Lydia deserves a great deal of applause. I'm good at writing a check, but as for the footwork, that's not my strong suit. But I have been better about that, and I do have some things that I do privately, and I'm glad to do it. And that's something I've always done. And if you if you feel like you need a sense of purpose, find someone in your family, in your community, or something like that, or I don't know, put $20 in an envelope and just send it. Just send it, and you'll be amazed at how good you feel. Whoever you think deserves it, just pop $20 in an envelope. Don't worry about no money order. Just pop $20 in an envelope. Fold it so you can't see it, and just send it. Just send it. In the worst of occasions, I'm sure you can put 20 on something, and it's not life changing, but it's enough to make people feel better about their lives. Um, the look on, like, the when I get an Amazon or something, the look on their face when they see that they're actually being appreciated by a customer. Of course, I'm not a kid, so I don't record stuff like that, but gosh, that feels good, because having worked in customer service, I know how good that feels to be recognized by a customer. So yeah, if you're going through some like weirdness right now and you just need to do something to feel better, that's something you can do. Pop $20 in the envelope and keep it moving. Okay. Thank you so much, Dorothy Ross. And I am going to take a peek through here at your comments. Rahini says, "This is why Tyler Perry is successful. He shares his blessings." Amen. Amen. Let me see here. Hi, Coco Ambrose. I'm sorry, Ambrose. Let me see. Tyler Perry is absolutely fabulous. He's always helping people. Let me see here. And that neighborhood has a lot of older people who's been in those homes since the 1970s and late 60s. Yeah. As a older person myself now, it always makes me sad that neighborhoods don't have any families anymore. Some neighborhoods don't have any families anymore, that people move in and move out. Buying a home is an investment. Buying multiple homes is a bigger investment. And of course, when I say buying a home, I'm talking about the people who will never live in that house, or they just fix it up and leave. That's not the fabric of a neighborhood. I mean, I get that people want to make money by flipping properties and stuff like that. Like, I hate it. One thing that I hated was, I don't want to say the name of the company, but you know how you rent your home to vacationers? That company, I hate that. I hated it. I still hate it, because people have lost the ability to find an affordable place to live. Can we really do that? Yep, I guess that's true. When you go to Venice, good luck finding a Venetian. Good luck finding a Venetian. If it's not a gift shop, is a gelato restaurant or something. Or if it's on a higher floor, then it's probably that company that I'm not saying the name of. And that's really sad. The Venetians have been driven away. The whole reason why Venice is there is because they wanted to seek some type of safety and shelter away from, pagan tribes or whatever. So they went to the marshland and built a city. So instead of having walls, they had water and they could see the enemy coming from far away. But now the Venetians have had to abandon the city so that tourists can come. Now it's not Venice, it's Disney. Oh, that's sad. I hate that. I hate that. Where's the Venetians? Let me see. Mystic Toxin says, interesting topic to join on. As a family with 2 young kids, it was so hard to find a community neighborhood. When we bought our house, we ended up being the only family on this block. Really? Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Yeah, that company, Tanja. Yes, it has helped increase the homeless situation. It really has. It really has. And I feel sad about that. And you know what, guys? I just saw this thing. This guy, he does tours of New York. Maybe you've seen him before. He has a lot of those short videos. He showed an apartment that an old person left because the rent was raised to, like, I don't know, about $850. And that was way more than they could afford. Even though for New York, that's nothing. But the landlord will not renovate the apartment and will not move anyone into the apartment because it's a rent control unit. He would rather the unit stay vacant. In Manhattan, he wants this unit vacant on the principle that I'd rather get nothing than to get a fraction of what it's worth. And so the person asked the tour guide, how much would that apartment rent for? This little studio apartment is a $3,000 unit. And if he can't get $3,000, he's not going to take anything. And he can't turn it into that company kind of unit either. So Mystic Toxin says there were spots closer to better schools that were full of families, but we couldn't afford them, sadly. Everyone on this block, other than one other married couple, are 50 plus. Wow. Yeah, that company, I mean, I don't want to just blame that company. There's other things too, like what is that network on cable that taught people how to flip their properties? They're just as guilty. But it's not really a neighborhood if everybody's flipping properties or renting out to tourists. It's not even a neighborhood anymore. Boy, I tell you, the stuff we took for granted when we were young, now it doesn't even exist. Thank you for sharing that, Mystic Toxin. And wow, that gives me something to think about. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. I hope this country goes back to family-orientated neighborhoods. Let me see. I have a funny feeling I'm going to have to work forever till Jesus say, okay, you can retire and come home. Oh, Joanna Moore, I hope that's not the case. I hope you win a lottery or something. That or something. I hope I hope that's not the case. I don't want anybody to have to do that. But looks like I'll be one of those people too. Really? Shreveport, Louisiana? Okay. Oh man, I went to New Orleans for the first time. Oh, not too long ago. I went there, and what a beautiful city. People in Louisiana. Oh man, it's so different. For where I live, it was an experience. So I've never been to Shreveport, but growing up, I knew a family that was from New Orleans. And that is how I learned to vein the shrimp. And that is also how I learned to make gumbo. All right, you guys, let's move on. Dorothy Ross, are you going to bed? Thank you so much for staying up with us. Let's see. Scott, I believe that's the guy from what state? Florida. Senator Scott dropped Social Security from plans as GOP retreats from entitlement cuts. The backtracking by the Florida Republican came after bipartisan criticism and signaled how the GOP has pulled away from calls to overhaul the nation's entitlement programs. First of all, I resent the term entitlements. We do pay taxes, by the way. I resent that. But anyway, President Joseph Robinette Biden made the GOP, GOP means Grand Old Party, for those of you who are not Americans. The party is technically older than the Democrats, so the GOP. But anyway, he made them promise not to mess with Social Security. And it's not the first time they wanted to tinker with it. But fortunately, Joe Biden was not having it. So there we go. And then, of course, now, would you peg Prince William as a Borrello type? I don't even know what that means. But okay, you guys, this is one reason why I love to verify. Some people just throw the tweets up there. I tend to be a little skeptical if it seems a bit like that. So I went and looked for the actual story. So that one is dated November 30th. The other slide there is dated November 29th. 2015, both of them. Wine pairing for our favorite members of the royal family. So that is the actual story. The other one, which seems like it was tweeted by Vanity Fair, it may very well have been, but I can't prove it. I couldn't find it. I can't prove it. So I'm not satisfied with that. So just to make the point, I put them side by side. As much as I would love to make fun of the two of them, I did not think it was appropriate for that one because, well, I have certain standards. Oh, man. I had to laugh. Anybody who know me would be like, really? Do you really? I do. I have certain standards. I have certain standards. And so in order to maintain my very high quality, posh, highfalutin standards, I had to make sure that I did some extensive research. Now, of course, Royal Sussex reached out to Vanity Fair, and so far we haven't gotten a response, mostly because we haven't reached out to anybody. But I just love saying that Royal Sussex reached out to anybody, really. But I mean, it just sounds cool to say that. Kind of like 60 Minutes reached out to the Palace for comment. The Palace made the request of seeing the interview with Prince Harry before it aired. And of course, we ain't doing that, right? We ain't doing that. We never do that. We don't yield to those colonizers. So no, you cannot see the video before we air it on 60 Minutes on CBS. All right, partner. So anyway, I didn't have to reach out to anybody. I don't believe that that's accurate. I think someone made that for fun. But if you know what, I'm still going to take another look. It just seems authentic, but I couldn't possibly know. I couldn't find the actual tweet. The one on the right is actually a screenshot from a Google search from the actual Vanity Fair website, but the tweet just didn't make sense. So I have to be cautious about those things. Prince Harry and William's feud may have begun over a sausage, claims Diana's ex-butler. So before Paul Burrell got salty with Harry over not mentioning him in the book, He wasn't always extreme with his anti-Sussex verbiage, but here you can see Princess Diana's former butler, Paul Burrell, says that Prince Harry's anger could have been sparked by William getting an extra sausage because he would be king one day. So, well, even though that is a lot to take in, and uh, oh, is it Beaujolais? Right? I'm sorry, I just saw that. Beaujolais wine is a French wine. Why do they using that for PR means okay, it's pronounced Beaujolais, right? Beaujolais. 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 You say potato, I say potato. Okay. So anyway, um, this really has nothing to do with anything. I made this a while ago, but since we've been on the topic of pegging, um, okay, let me put it to you like this. The photos do not go with the headline. That's my pettiness, okay? That's me being petty and spiteful and mean spirited that I saw that headline and I decided, well, since there's no photos, maybe I can find something appropriate. So I did that myself. So don't pay no attention to that, y'all. I didn't go with the headline. All right. So right here it says if they were smart, the Sussexes would let it be known that they find it amusing. Now, it means that the Sussexes thought that the South Park thing was funny. I'm trying to remember who said that. It was some uh, person on, oh gosh, was it Good Morning Britain? It may have been Good Morning Britain. Well, the guy on the panel said if the Sussexes were smart, they would say that they found it amusing. Just like the Cambridges thought it was funny that South Park did the thing with, actually, I don't think it was that one. I think it was something else. Yeah, don't quote me on that. I don't think it was that one. I think it was something else. I know, Black Queen. I kind of went there already, didn't I? I don't think it was that, but I think it was something else. But it was another South Park skit that they found humorous. But I don't think they thought the one about the pegging was funny. So that's a little deceptive having the two of these together. And I do apologize for that. But it was a different skit about the Cambridges that they let their people, they leaked or briefed that they thought it was funny. They didn't think this one was funny. I could assure you they didn't find the humor. And especially now that it has once again brought up the Prince of Pegging, I'm sure they don't find this funny. Oh, and so right here, South Park, I think this is the one. This particular skit right there, I think it's different. No, that is the one. But no, anyway. But oh yeah, this is a what the fail had in the paper the other day, yesterday rather. Just that they have a history of dragging the royal family. And the Daily Mail, they didn't have to even mention this, but since we were talking about it on Twitter, they didn't want to miss an opportunity to kind of sock it to Will and Kate and make it seem like they didn't do it on purpose. Oh, really? So she's replacing the stunt man, Eamon. Eamon has injuries that are consistent with someone who works as a stunt double in Hollywood. Now, if he's a stunt double, it would probably have to be for Sharon Osbourne. But oh, okay, I didn't know that. So all I can say is this pie is for the Prince and Princess of Wales. There are many a days when I lie in bed gnashing my teeth, and all I could think about is sending a pie to the Prince and Princess of Wales. and then having them eat those pies while they are being paraded through the streets of towns all over the United Kingdom. Wait, where have I heard that dream before? Gosh, that seems familiar. Well, anyway, like I said, some nights I lie in bed gnashing my teeth, and all I could dream about is watching the Cambridges eat some of that delicious mini pie. Flies buzzing around and everything. I want them to have exactly what they need, and that is a refreshing slice of mini pie. Eat it and enjoy it. Okay, update for the spare, right? Update for the spare. Penguin Press is so excited right now because for what, the fifth week straight, Spare is number one. Spare is still dominating the top seller charts both locally and internationally. If you haven't yet grabbed yourself a copy at any leading bookstore nationwide and hear Prince Harry's story in his own words. So, hip hip hooray for the Duke of Sussex. And right here, yet another obscure little library somewhere in middle America that no one has ever heard of outside of that local community is celebrating the fact that they have Spare available. New books coming into our world language collection every day. This copy of Spare is in Espanol and is now available for checkout. You can also get titles in Arabic, French, Chinese, and more. So, but they chose Spare as a way to send a message to people that we have what you want. So that is very cool. All right. Let me see here. And so I toyed with the idea of playing this soundbite, but since it's NPR and I don't know, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. But The Prince Speaks, the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry Spare. You can go to NPR. The link is actually available on the community tab for Royal Sussex. I put it on there like probably just before I went on. And so you'll find this image of the book. You'll find that it's has the title up there at the top. The Prince Speaks. That is how you will find it. And there is a link so you can go to that page. It's only about a 3-minute interview, but if you're so inclined, they say some really nice things about the book. And let's see, Marion Winnick and Lisa Morgan, they're the ones that reviewed the book. So that is something that you can do later on if you like, or whenever. But yeah, so I put that on the community tab. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of water. Sorry. Black Queen says, so where is the one about the breaking off of Hand and Pagan? Okay, Hand and Phil. Why did South Park call them Prince and Princess of Canada? You know, so far, I don't think that whatever it is going to be so offensive. But the problem is, it's not that it's going to offend as much as I'm worried that it will mislead. We have fought so hard as the Sussex Squad or anybody else who has been trying to set the record straight about Harry and Meghan. We have tried so hard with things like the privacy. Oh, but I thought they wanted their privacy. We have fought so hard to let people know that Harry and Meghan has never said that is some type of weapon that was formed by the tabloid media to make them look shady, to make them seem as though they're inconsistent, or even worse, liars, or that they are invading their own privacy. It's a very clever thing to say, but it's very inaccurate. And so that's the only thing I worry about the South Park is that, um, you know, that is something that goes at the very core of the integrity of the Sussex's reason for leaving the UK. And just when you think that it's been put to rest, then it, comes back like this. Now, maybe this was their clever thing to do instead of doing something even worse. I mean, if this is the worst of it, it's not so bad. But the thing is, it actually, brings back into view that same narrative that we've been working so hard to try to dispel or to even get rid of, if you will. And that bothers me. But you know what, guys, whatever they do, it's going to be tacky and tasteless. Is going to feature the whole thing about their privacy. And maybe if I wasn't so emotionally close to the situation, it might even be humorous. But it's just like with Allison laughing about that certain part of the spare. I couldn't see the humor in it because I know how much that kind of joke is actually costing them. Maybe one day they'll sit around, we'll sit around, we'll all have a good laugh, but we're just not there yet. We're not there yet. People have threatened their life and livelihood. So I'm not ready to laugh about something like that. So I think it's mostly harmless, but I still think it's very problematic. Thank you so much, Black Queen. Yep, I think it's still a thing, and I would rather it just not happen. Shirley says, Baron, I think that South Park would think twice about saying that because they could be sued because on the docuseries, Harry and Meghan both made it clear that they never said that. Well, Shirley, uh, they do have a right to satire. Um, if you ever like watch Saturday Night Live, some of the things that they joke about is protected by the First Amendment because it is satire. It's not an accusation. It's not, contradicting anything in a way that it's pretty much, it's almost like they're saying alleged. It's almost as though they're saying alleged because it's satire. And there's certain things that Saturday Night Live get away with, and of course that the South Park gets away with because it's meant to be a joke. It doesn't make it comfortable for us. It doesn't make it a good thing for the Sussexes, but they do have a right to their satire, and there's probably not a lot that can be done with that. Even if they did say that it's just a cartoon, it's not a person on the panel wearing a three-piece suit, speaking it as though it's fact. If that's the case, a lot of them would end up in court. So I wish there was a way to stop it or to make it go away. But as silly as it is, it's just like I had the meltdown yesterday about the Google. She Googled him. Oh, that just burns me up. I hate to hear that because it makes her sound like some devious, shady, needy woman who doesn't have anything of her own or no ambitions other than a man. That's not the Duchess of Sussex. That's not Rachel Meghan Markle. That's not Meghan Markle. That is a characterization that was created by the tabloid press. Just like the privacy thing is something that was created by the tabloid press. It does not bear any like resemblance to reality. So, where that's concerned, as painful as it is, it's just no way to make that disappear. It has to run its course. And unfortunately, just when you thought you've heard the last of it, somebody else to throw it back out there again. So I'm sad to say that that is the reality of it, but I do think that is so convenient, and it's been very effective for people who have it in for the Sussexes. I just saw Lauren Brown is here. Hey, Lauren Brown. Excuse me. And I did notice that. Oh, by the way, thank you, Shirley. That Lydia has given us the link. So I just posted the link to official Lauren Brown. So you guys can check out Lauren's channel. If you remember, Lauren was on here saving me that day when I was all over the place. When I was all over the place, she brought a cohesive message to the banter, and I am most appreciative. All right. Excuse me. So let me see here. Okay. Yes, Susie Q, they've run out of stories. They have run out of stories. And especially, like I said yesterday, with the whole thing. What was the one yesterday with Meghan? Gosh, I almost forget. But yeah, they, especially since Meghan has not made herself available for their poison, they've just been making up stuff. Let's see here. Foxy Gibbs, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. All right. Happy Friday. Now, right here, you have Uplift. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. By the way, I love that photo of Prince Harry. Chief Impact Officer, better up. Chief Impact Officer. So March 7th through the 8th, that is the likely next time we will see or hear anything from the Duke of Sussex. And that, of course, has to do with Better Up, which is a, let me see, they do coaching and life leadership. Okay, well, I'll just take a look at that one right there. What if you could dig into the science behind what drives productivity, performance, and employee well-being in today's workplace? Hear from from some of today's brightest thought leaders, researchers, and psychologists virtually March 7th through the 8th at Uplift 2023, betterup.com/uplift. And so you have Robichaud, which is the guy in the lower left. The other two I don't know, but I have it here. So Issa Rae, Alexei Robichaud, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, Robin, is it Arzone? Let me see. Quinetta Roberson, PhD. Adam Grant, PhD. Martin, EP, is that Seligman, PhD. Eduardo Medina, and Sonia, that PhD right there too. Louis Bomersky. There you go. They're also going to be on the thing. So there you go. You guys still have time to register. And guess what? That's also on the community tab. I believe I posted that just before the other thing. So when you leave Royal Sussex, go over to the community tab and you will find it. Okay, you guys, it is time for me to do the big reveal. So I told you guys I went to a very dark place today. And I told you guys one of the ways that I survive Twitter is that I don't engage with that nonsense. I don't reply or retaliate. But this person right here who say that they you see they're using the avatar. This person says, I'm a Black girl who tweets in French and English. I tweet about whatever I want. And I have to wonder, how old are you? If your hashtag is dumb prince and his stupid wife, doesn't that sound like somebody that's about 12 years old? Dumb prince and his stupid wife. So behind, you see where it says follow? There is something that I did not want to share with you guys. I didn't like it, so I didn't share it. But if you take a look beneath dumb prince and his stupid wife, I replaced Meghan with that large cranial mass of Kate, and I replaced Harry with that also equally large cranial mass of William, and then I sent it right back to her. As you can see, I tweeted it back to her. Now, I promise you, I rarely ever do stuff like that, but I decided I could give it just as well as I could take it. And so I decided to tweet it right back to her. And so there you have it, my response, because I have a feeling that whoever this person is, as a strong Black woman, I think we Blacks talk too much about racism. I think that they call themselves blackfishing. So I decided to respond in kind. And so I took the image of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and I decided to take away that disgraceful display that they created with Harry down on all fours like some type of canine. And I replaced it with this. So I took it from that to this. Happy New Year. There you go. Now I like it. And you know what? It's also very accurate because as you can see, she's wearing one of Meghan's outfits or something close to it. So if that's the case, well, then there you have it. That makes a lot of sense. William, of course, is wearing something that Harry would have worn. So they tend to try to reimagine the Sussex's outfits or repurpose them for their own twisted purposes. So I decided, well, I will do a characterization of my own. And so that's one of the reasons why it took me so long to get in here today. I was just like, oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. So I decided I would give it back to that person tenfold. Ha! Take that, troll. Take that. Now, mind you, I have never created such an undignified image of the Cambridges. I don't hate them. You know, they'll have to deal with their own insecurities. It's not up to me to police them. I don't usually take their images and manipulate them into something. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I do. I don't usually do it though. I mean, this is probably the only time I've ever done that, except for, oh, yeah, you're right. I have done that before. All right. So forget what I just said. But anyway, and of course, even if that is the case, I have only restricted that type of editing to them. All right. No, I didn't. But this is the only other person except, and that, and all right, all right. So I have taken license with an image here and there, but they asked for it. They asked for it. I am going to blame the victim. But yeah, I just didn't like that. I'm just like, you know, why would you do that to some people that you never met, have never done anything to you? Um, and usually, like I said, I don't bother with stuff like that. I don't go back and forth on the Twitter. But today, I went back, and that was the fruit of my labor. So, ha! Ha! Leave Harry and Meghan alone. Okay, you guys, so that's enough of the shade. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris is welcomed by Bavarian Minister President Markus Söder at the airport in Munich, Germany on Thursday. So Isn't that sweet? There she is, Kamala. Even though she's one of the most powerful women in the world, she was right. Okay, okay. When they go low, you go lower. I can do that. Uh, you're right, Lauren. Let's stay on this one right here. That is a nice moment for Kamala. And even though she is a, you know, tough one, tough in a good way, even though she's you know, this powerful woman, it could not escape her notice that someone brought her a flower. I thought that was very sweet. And it could seem a little condescending if you brought like a big bouquet of flowers, but a single rose is just enough, right? It's just enough. So I thought that was very classy. I like that. Oh, by the way, Lex, thank you so much for the super chat. I almost forgot about that. Andrea Mitchell reports exclusive Vice President Kamala Harris tomorrow at 12 p.m. Or as Barbara Walters would say, tomorrow at well m. So you guys, now there is a person on Twitter who has been very pro Sussex across all of these social media platforms. However, oh, thank you so much, Judy. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. However, this young man who really, he has stood up for Kamala and for Joe Biden. Joe Biden. That's how Kamala Harris said, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. He has stood up for both of them, right? So when he saw this image of Kamala Harris and Andrea Mitchell, he kind of took exception because the body language says it all. And I'll share it with you. And of course, this young man added the caption, Andrea Mitchell, I'm going to cover you unfairly, just like I did Hillary Clinton. And Kamala Harris, both of these are fictitious, right? Um, the F you not. And I covered up that other word because I thought it was just, a little bit over the top. So, oh my goodness, this looks like quite a showdown. I mean, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't think it aired yet, has it? I'm not sure what's going to happen. But, whew, I tell you, I'm going to put my money on Kamala for one reason, because Kamala is probably wearing her Chuck Taylors. So yeah, I'm going to put my money on Kamala because if you're wearing your Chuck Taylors, you have more leverage in a struggle. So not to say that something is going to go down, but if there is something going to go down, Kamala is leaning into the conversation, and the other one is leaning away from the conversation. And like I say, there's a good chance Kamala's wearing her Chuck Taylors. So Chuck Taylors are good if you ever find yourself in that position. Vaseline, cornrows, no jewelry, Chuck Taylors. But okay, you guys, I'm feeling anxious about this photo because I don't want nobody coming for Kamala. However, I have to remind you guys that Andrea Mitchell, even though sometimes she a little bit nosy and sometimes she kind of, be a little heavy-handed with people that I may have voted for. Uh, I'm not paying you no attention, Black Queen. Go on now. I ain't paying you no attention. So you're on your own with that one. Okay. So let's get on with it. So the young content creator who is always defending Kamala Harris, he wasn't through with that caption that you see down in the corner, because the very next thing that he posted on his Twitter was this. Now, I'm not sure who is being depicted in this photo, but he posted this on his Twitter. So I don't know who that is supposed to be. Um, I want to say she kind of looks familiar, but it's not really polite. But oh man, it's not really polite to say. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and I'll let you glean from it whatever you may. But like I say, he loves Kamala Harris and he loves Joe Biden, and he took exception to the idea that anyone might, get sassy with her. So, um, where that's concerned, he's just standing up for his peeps. Okay, he's just defending his peeps. He don't mean nothing by it. He's just looking out for his peeps. I'm sure that that could be absolutely anyone. Maybe he's like one of those people who, you know how some people like to put those funny cat pictures or funny puppy pictures or something like that. That's probably what it was. It's probably just like a bit of whimsy that he just happened to share after he posted that other photo, right? Right. So he don't mean nothing by it. Uh, okay, but all right. So as for what's her name? Andrea Mitchell. I like Andrea Mitchell because Andrea gave me one of the best days of my life. Hey, Anastasia. Um, and that was this day. It was Andrea Mitchell who asked the uh, Duchess of Cambridge, "Have you had a chance to meet your new niece?" Oh, oh, oh. Yes, that was Andrea Mitchell. So before I condemn Andrea Mitchell or anybody else for that matter, just remember, oh, oh, please don't forget that beautiful moment that she gave us. Oh, no, I haven't, but I I'm I'm looking forward to meeting her. So, like anything else, you take the good, the bad, the bitter with the sweet. Um, you know what I'm saying?
But the question for Kate came from a White House reporter, and it was about family.
Your Royal Highness, do you have any wishes for your new niece, Lilibet?
Oh, I wish her all the very best. I can't wait to meet her because we haven't yet met her yet. So hopefully that will be soon.
Some of life's guiltiest pleasures. Oh, how many times have I watched this? Oh, oh. Well, okay, I've watched it quite a few times. When they asked Kate about seeing the new baby, it number one, Kate is looking bad. Oh my God, she's looking bad. I don't know if she's not sleeping, I don't know what's going on with her. I'm genuinely worried about Kate Middleton. I'm so worried about her. She's at the G8 summit, and outside of that controlled environment that she's accustomed to, she's not doing so well. She looks very, well, she looks Kate. I don't know if that's, anyway, what I'm talking about, what I'm tiptoeing my way into is the video at the G7 summit in Cornwall. Gosh, where do I know that name? Cornwall. God, oh, the Duchess of Cornwall, Camilla Barker Bowles. Yeah, that Cornwall. Anyway, so back to Kate. When they asked her about the baby, I thought she was going to fall back in the chair. I thought she was going to do like a stunt double, like tumble back, just to avoid answering the question. She looked around the room. You could tell this poor girl is so uncomfortable. This job does not suit her. If only they had a duchess in that family that was accustomed to speaking to people on the world stage, people who have spoken to, like, I don't know, the UN Secretary General, or someone who's perhaps gone on a mission to entertain the troops with the, I guess the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff or Secretary of Defense. If there was only some duchess who had that kind of experience, someone who doesn't like lock up and freeze and panic when people ask her something like, Your Royal Highness, do you know what time it is? You know, that kind of thing. Your Royal Highness, are we expecting rain tomorrow? Oh. That was so hard to watch. I mean, but what am I saying that was hard to watch? I just had my life, you know? That just gave me my life. Seeing that poor dear panic like that, I will admit with all sincerity, I just had like one of my best moments of 2021. Yeah, I guess I gotta go because I gotta go watch it again, don't I? Oh. What's bad about this is that the body language experts won't touch it. It is quite obvious that she has a bit of a tic, or something's going on there, but she's just shy. That poor thing, she was pouring through that program or whatever it was she was looking at. She was pouring through it, keeping her eyes down, hoping that nobody asked me a question. Please, no one asked me a question. I kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just wishful thinking, but it just seems to me like I kind of caught a glance from Jill Biden where she was just, had this look on her face like, oh, this poor dear. Jill is way too classy, so don't let me put words in her mouth, but it's just what I need to believe because I don't like the way they treated our Duchess while she was there, so, but let me tell you something. Jill Biden is a tough cookie. She is a tough cookie, but she's also lovely and gracious and very kind, and she's super, super intelligent. If you missed her speech from the airport or Air Force Base when they first arrived, she was amazing. She electrified the whole room with her speech. And it's so bad. All right, you guys. That was a video I made in 2021, as you can tell. And it When I, by the way, Maureen Reed, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much. I'm sorry, super chat. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And yeah, it says here, Baron, I'm about to wet my pants. Oh, oh. What language is that? Oh, oh, oh man, gosh, that was funny. All right, so let me do this. Okay, so I have a sound bite for you. Unfortunately, the sound quality will not be as great, but you guys probably recognize it's his name, Terrell. I can't remember his name, but anyway, oh, actually, I should be able to. Nope, I don't have it here either. But he used to do the political commentary on MSNBC, and the young man that's sitting across from him, I don't know who that is either. Let me see, who is that? Oh, that's Malcolm Jamal Warner. I kept saying to myself, gosh, he looks a lot like Malcolm Jamal Warner. Well, apparently he was on Suits, right? He had a recurring character on Suits. Well, take a listen to this. I hope the sound is clear. I'll try to. Okay, here we go.
Cool. So you were in Suits for 2 years. Yeah. You work with. So you were in Suits for 2 years. Yeah. You work with Meghan Markle. Yeah. Yeah. What was that like? It was cool. We didn't really have scenes together, so I'd see her, and she was really nice, really cool. My best friend, that's talking about Chris. He's a stage manager. He used to stage manage Deal or No Deal. Meghan used to be on Deal or No Deal. He's had more interaction with her than I did. But she was always cool. Let me ask you something. Did you know she was black? Yeah. I mean, I'm like, yo, I got black dar, so we see it. Yeah. But instead of I can see where a lot of people be like, I didn't know. The great thing is that she knew.
There you go. That was it. I'm going to play that one more time.
Cool. So you were in Suits for 2 years. Yeah. You work with. So you were in Suits for 2 years. Yeah. You work with Meghan Markle. Yeah. Yeah. What was that like? It was cool. We didn't really have scenes together, so I'd see her, and she was really nice, really cool. My best friend, that's talking about Chris. He's a stage manager. He used to stage manage Deal or No Deal. Meghan used to be on Deal or No Deal. He's had more interaction with her than I did. But she was always cool. Let me ask you something. Did you know she was black? Yeah. I mean, I'm like, yo, I got black dar, so we see it. Yeah. But instead of I can see where a lot of people be like, I didn't know. The great thing is that she knew.
The great thing about it was she knew. Whether or not other people knew she was black, the important thing is she knew it. Okay? She knew it. And that is one of those topics that has also been a problem here and there, and even worse is that when the British media tries to somehow chime in on her blackness or her perceptions of blackness from other people, to the point where it makes her look insincere, or they try to make it seem like she's trying to be something she's not, or above it all or something. And of course, sometimes you have people in the social media on the Twitter or Facebook and Instagram that try to make this case that Meghan listed herself as Caucasian in her bio, even though people whose bios appear on the internet, people usually have absolutely nothing to do with what's listed there. And the person who creates those bios could be someone of another race in another country, or whatever the case may be. It has nothing to do with Meghan listing those things herself, but they try to use that against her. So I thought that was the most solid, thoughtful thing anybody could say is, the thing is, she knew. That's perfect. That's perfect. Enough said. She knew. So thank you, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Thank you for telling it like it is. Okay, why Yvonne? Is it Ori or is it Orgy or Jai or G? Listen to Meghan Markle's podcast. Well, I was hoping. Okay, I tried to find if there was a. Oh Lord, I done just bit my lip. I tried to find if there was something more to this article besides just this basic stuff here, but it says number of unread emails, first app checked in the morning. How long was your most recent call? Who was it with? Most essential app while traveling. Most listened to music and streaming platform. Times that is you turn your phone off. Let me see. Favorite Instagram feed, alarm setting, and then it gets to favorite podcast. Currently, Meghan Markle's Archetype, because she hits the stereotypes on the head and dispels them. So I don't know this young lady, but I like that. So I wanted to share it with you, and I was hoping that there was more to the story, but maybe that was it. But it was in the Wall Street Journal, and as you guys know, Wall Street Journal, I forgot who purchased it, but oh God, I don't think it's the people that started it. I think the family that owned it sold it, and then after that, their credentials have been in question. But anyway, I like that. But this is the young lady right here. I'm so sorry. I don't know who she is. I'd never seen her before today. But I had to find this photo because they have this illustration and I wanted to see what she looked like. So I just had to go and find it. So there you go. I thought that was pretty cool. I think a lot of people, even though like the excitement that there was at the time when Archetypes came out has kind of, faded a bit. I think there's a lot of people that probably still listen to it from time to time. And just like Spare, it will definitely be a tool in terms of education. It is going to be a tool. As self-help goes, it is definitely a tool because there's a lot of good information there with Archetypes, as with Spare. Spare, of course, really focuses on a child overcoming grief, among other things. And the Archetypes, of course, are the things that affect women the way, it's the archetypes that affect women, the descriptions, the labels that affect women. So that is also a very important tool. So, I'm sorry here. Creative Life says she's a fun comedy special. Oh, okay. She has a fun comedy special. She's from the DMV area. Really? Okay. I guess I'll have to look her up. I didn't really have time. It was like one of the last things I did before I came on today. So, while I was socking it to that other person on Twitter. Oh, that's good to know. That is good to know. And who knows? Maybe, well, you know what? I'm not going to speculate what the Sussexes are working on, but I'll just say I hope that we'll have more Archetypes soon. Yeah, she's beautiful, right? Very, very beautiful. Okay. And someone in the Twitter posted this, the difference between making decisions with your head or your heart. Okay. And anyway, I thought it was a very cool photo. And I just wanted to share it because I thought it was beautiful. And, oh, wait, was that it? Yes, that's it, you guys. I am done. I will take a look at a few of your comments. Now, Anne was here earlier. Is she coming on today? She wasn't scheduled earlier. So I wasn't sure, and I'm looking now, and I don't see anything scheduled for today. I thought she's going to have call-ins today. I love the call-ins, but don't take my word for it. But I don't see anything scheduled for today. Also, Pedo. I don't think Pedo was on today, but Sharian. Gosh, I hope I'm not overlapping with Sharian. But I think I have. Maybe I haven't because she's usually on her. I don't know. But yeah, so, and then of course, there's all the other, and there's something I was supposed to work on. I was supposed to do a listing of all the channels like we had before. So I'm going to work on that soon. I'll just build on what we had already and hopefully, you know, so that people in the squad will know where to go, so we can recognize those Sussex friendly resources, because it's very important. I had the misfortune of running into another hate channel today. Now, I wouldn't say that this person is really hateful, but she's a royalist, although she's American born. She doesn't have an accent or anything, but she seems to be a royalist. I would say an opportunist, but she seems to be a royalist. And the reason why I say opportunist is she doesn't really seem to know much about any of that stuff. And, you know, for the Sussex squad, there's a much higher bar. Like, for instance, I realized how important this information is. And so sometimes I make sure that I go that extra mile to make sure that things are accurate. And of course, as much as I like to make fun of those people, I certainly don't want to put out any misinformation just for the sake of having to say something, you know, or you know, just to have a big laugh or something like that. I'd rather be accurate when it counts. Well, there's not a high bar for the hate channels. They just, it's not even so much about how much they love the royal family. The only common thread is how much they hate the Sussexes. No real explanation for the hate, but just making sure that they project those conspiracy theories. Let me see here. Is it Bertie Evans? Do you think that means people don't need to buy it anymore? That well, I mean, what will they do for our family sales records? Don't need to. Oh, I don't think no, we weren't talking about the book. If that's what you mean, I think we were talking about archetypes, right? Do you mean people don't need to buy it anymore? What will that do for our faves family sale records? I'm not sure what that means. But you know, whatever boosts numbers for the Sussexes, you know, I'm all for that. Let me see. Hawkeye Helen says, thank you, Baron. And by Global Squatties, thank you so much, Hawkeye Helen. Thank you for being here. Okay. April Jones says, Baron, does every person, no matter where they are, from have a courtesy? I mean, have to curtsy to Charles and Camilla? No, it's always been said that the curtsy and the bowing is not obligatory. It is totally up to the individual. Now, people do it as a matter of respect, and I think also a lot of people just do it because it's fun. It's fun to be a part of that club of people that believe that that type of chivalry and deference is important. So, but you don't have to do it. Most heads of state, or even, you know, there's a lot of people that will meet the royal family and they're just not going to bother with that. So it really depends on the individual. And if you really have respect for that person and you want to, you know, play along with the traditions, then fine. But if you don't, that's your call. Like when they have a state dinner or a white tie dinner, they say that you should dress formal with a white tie and tails and stuff, or they always leave it open for traditional or tribal dress. So that's why you would see on occasion people go to Buckingham Palace and there, let's say the more Western leaders are dressed up in their tuxedos with the white tie and tails. And let's say you may have a prime minister from India who wears a tunic, no tie, no tails, just a tunic, and something really nice and elegant. And that's what they choose to wear. They don't have to wear the white tie and tails. So those things are a nice tradition for the royal family to see who's in their corner, but it's not mandatory. Let's see. TR Sira, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday to you. Thank you so much for being here. Always appreciate it. Let me see. Have you been patient, though? Have you really been patient? I haven't forgotten. I just haven't done it. But yeah, you have been patient. Let me see. Joya Moore says, I enjoyed today's podcast and I watched replay of yesterday's podcast just this morning because I had to work all day yesterday. Baron, you are a gifted person and you are where you're supposed to be. Thank you, Joya Moore. That is so kind of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Well, I'm very much enjoying this. This was like something that happened that I certainly wasn't expecting. At this point in my life, I remember years ago when I got my gateway computer back in 1999, which ironically cost almost as much as the last computer I bought. And the last one does a whole lot more than that one I bought in 1999, which came with a printer and speakers and all kinds of stuff. But I never envisioned something like this. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And it is a lot of fun. And I also feel like it's a lot of responsibility. So I'm always trying to make sure I get it right, that I strike just the right balance so that nobody leaves angry or frustrated or something like that. And that's why I always tell you guys to tune out of anything that you're taking in day after day if it is causing you heartache or hardship or something like that, because as Americans, I always, even before computers and the internet, I always felt that here in the United States, we were exposed to more information more often than anybody else in the world. Well, now that's changed. Now, everybody in the world, or at least half of us on the planet, are exposed to more information more often than ever before in history. And that's a lot to take in. And while we're taking that in, there are people who are trying to sow seeds of confusion, create doubt, sell products, and so many other things that I care not to mention at this point. But so we just have to be careful what we take in. And I also have pointed out that there's other channels, other content creators in the Sussex friendly universe that are worth trying out. I won't be offended. They are definitely worth trying out. And there's a few of them that I listen to most days. And I'm glad for them. I'm really glad for them. Okay. But thank you so much, Joy Moore. Okay. Black Queen. Okay, actually, let me just take a look. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I have to be careful though before I lean into it because I'm never sure where it's going to go. Oh man, Suzuki Bear and I had a Gateway computer too. Yeah, that was my first computer. Was my Gateway with that big gigantic monitor. Oh man, those were the days. Well, you know what? That wasn't my first. I'm going to tell you. Do you guys remember when was it Texas Instrument? Do you guys remember the computer? It didn't do a whole lot, but I had one before that. And I want to say the other one I had may have been in the 1980s. And it didn't do a whole lot. It didn't even hook up to the internet. There was no internet. But yeah, I had a Texas Instrument computer before that. And oh gosh, you know what? I can picture it. I don't know where I was living, but I don't think I was an adult, was I? Or was I? But yeah, I had some kind of Texas Instrument thing, and it was just something for nerds. It wasn't like the computing power. It didn't do half of what the Gateway could do. It didn't even do a fraction of it. So now that I think about it, I did have some form of primitive computer before the Gateway. Wow, I hadn't thought about that thing in years. Let me see. Linda says, you're right, Baron. We're all squatties. Absolutely. Annie Bullard says, Baron, don't let it slide. You still owe me a side by side. Okay, if it rhymes, then it must be true. Anytime something rhymes, it's either true or Nipsey Russell. Or sometimes if it's Nipsey Russell and it rhymes, it's probably true. Guys, I was looking at an interview with Jerry Lewis, and he talked about Dean Martin. And I love those interviews where they talk about the old clubs that they would attend and all of those, like back in the day. And some of it's hard. Well, okay. I kind of feel sad in a very nostalgic way, but I didn't grow up in a period, at least I wasn't of age to go out to these places when you could go to like a little club somewhere, like a little cocktail lounge, a little place like that, and you could see a Ella Fitzgerald. You know what I'm saying? Those places are gone. I used to think that people like Ella Fitzgerald always played these big rooms. But they didn't. Some of those places was a hole in the wall. And they're crisscrossing the country by train going to these places. So that is so interesting to me. And then when you hear them talk about, the club owners and who they would run into and how much they got paid. Like Jerry Lewis said, this one place when he had first met Dean Martin, they got paid. He said, I was doing good. I was making $150 a week plus my room. So they gave him a room and he made $150 a week. And then when he and Dean Martin finally got on the stage together, within a week, the place was packed with people, to the point where they had to have mounted police officers to keep the crowd under control because people wanted to get in there, right? And he said within a month, he went from making that 150 a week to $6,000 a week. That's how much business he brought to this club. And I'm talking about back in the day money. That's a lot of money today. That's a lot of money today. So because of their music and jokes and stuff on stage, that is how they get cast into the movies and such. But wow, that must have been a time. That must have been an amazing time to be able to travel across the country and even around the world, doing all those shows like that. So yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, I listen to those interviews all the time, where they just talk about the people and places and the things and stuff that they've done. There was one music performer that was a friend of the family, a blues artist, and I remember going to his house, and I remember seeing all of his trophies in his trophy case. And I was so fascinated by that to have seen him and heard him on the radio and stuff like that. But he was a friend of my parents, and I'm sitting there in his house, scared to touch anything because, I was supposed to behave and be on my best behavior. And eventually he noticed that the kids were, kind of bored and everything. So he took us to get ice cream in his Cadillac. Oh my God, I was, so afraid to drop my ice cream or something like that. So it wasn't a very comfortable thing, but it was interesting. And that was the first time that I had ever spent any time with someone who had that kind of life where they're traveling back and forth across the country and known around the world and everything. And he didn't say much, though. He was very quiet. He wasn't the person that you saw on stage, that's for sure. He's very quiet. As a matter of fact, I could not even imagine what his voice sounds like because he didn't really say much. If he did say anything, it was just like I was too fascinated with the situation to even know what was said. But I just remember the presence. That's what I remember was the presence. So, oh man. But yeah, I could listen to those kind of interviews. And I if I got work to do or something like that or something around the house. Speaking of which, someone sent me a PayPal. And they have a YouTube channel of their own. And if they're listening, I'm not going to say your name, but you have a YouTube channel of your own. And I did watch it yesterday. And I know because you replied to me when I left a comment. And I just want to say that was amazing. This channel was very calming and relaxing. It, wasn't focused on the Sussexes, but it was like, well, she kept me company while I was working, so I really do appreciate that. Let me see. Let me see. You can sing a song, "Hole in the Wall." I don't know that song, "Hole in the Wall." Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't know that song. Is that a song? It sounds like it should be, shouldn't it? Let me see. I have a poster with Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Joey Bishop, and Peter Lawford in Vegas so that I can remember what Sammy Davis Jr. went through in Las Vegas. I don't know anything about his Las Vegas years. Oh, there must be a story there, huh? Well, I think you've just given me some homework. I guess there's a story there. I'm going to have to look into it because I don't know anything about Sammy Davis Jr.'s Las Vegas years. But that is that's, you know, as they say, that's my kink. I love to learn stuff like that. Black Queen says, Baron, I love the nostalgic reminiscing. Would love, I'm sorry, would have loved to be a teenager in the 70s for the fashions and music minus the racism. And let's not forget the cars. Let's not forget those land yachts. I had a neighbor who had a Lincoln Town Car. Now, I think this was at that point where it was the Lincoln Continental Town Car, right? So it was that big one, like the kind that, oh gosh, what's his name? Anyway, I could tell you it was a 78. I know what year it was. It was a 78, and it was brown, and it had a tan interior. It had those port windows on the side. I used to think that was just the most beautiful car. It was huge. It was a land yacht, as they say. It was a land yacht. And oh, I was so into cars. I mean, I'm still a car person, but I love that car. I love that car. And I think my neighbor was and don't laugh, I think he was a pharmacist. And I'm not talking about a street corner pharmacist, but a real pharmacist. And very, very nice car. And back in 1993, I used to have a 72 Oldsmobile, and that thing was huge. It was a 1972 Oldsmobile Toronado, and it had that hood that seemed like it was, you know, it was 20 feet long. I mean, I know it wasn't that long, but it was huge. Oh, okay. So can I mention the channel? Do you want people to come over to your channel? But I'd have to say it was très magnifique. Well, let me know. But yes, it was très magnifique. I just loved it. It was very sweet. It was as tender as a mother's love. That's what it was. But yeah, so it was a big car. And when I got it, it was like, it was in great condition, and it had a 4-barrel carburetor with a 455 engine, dual exhaust. I mean, that thing ran like a scalded dog. But unfortunately, I believe the seals for the engine block lost a little. I started smelling gasoline, and the engine caught on fire. The engine was not damaged, but it, you know, all of the rubber and hoses and belts and stuff needed replacement. I only paid $450 for the car, so I didn't sell it as is. I gave it away. Someone who had a tow truck. No, actually, he didn't have a tow truck. He called a tow truck, but some kid asked me if he could have it, and I said, sure. I said, I'll meet you tomorrow with the title, and I just gave him the car. But he didn't really want the car. He wanted that 455. Okay, so Yoel, is it Yoel? I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyway, this is the nice lady whose channel that I listened to last night. How sweet. She has an eBay channel, eBay site. She also does what is it? The antiquing. And you were working on a scrapbook, which I thought was so interesting. Well, not a scrapbook, but it was a journal, and I had never seen one like that before. So I'm going to put your link up here so people can come over to your channel and check it out. But she had, I think you only spoke about Harry and Meghan at one time. So she spoke about Harry and Meghan, which I thought was very, very sweet. And I listened to that, and then I watched some of her other stuff. So don't worry, it's not like that antique lady, the one with that big bubble head that hate Harry and Meghan. It's not like her. She's sweet and she's one of us. So okay, so I'm gonna put this here, and then I'm gonna oh gosh, what did I just do? I'm gonna pin it to the top of the chat so that people can check out your channel. But anyway, what I really loved is the sweetest, most loving, and that French accent. Oh, it was just so cute. It was cute. So anyway, you are absolutely adorable, and thank you for reaching out to me. And thank you for speaking up for our faves. So okay, I'm working on the link right now, and okay, so I just pinned it to the top of the chat. There you go. Wait, did I or no? What did I just do? Okay, now it should be there. Is it? What did I do? Okay, I think that's right. Yes, there we go. So I know I'm saying your name wrong, but it's Yael. Yael. Is it Gail? No, Yael. 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 Okay. Sorry about that. Helene Cole, thank you so much. Sammy and Frank. Oh, let me do that. Sammy and Frank and Dean was called the Rat Pack while in Vegas. Check out the Ocean's 7 movie. Now, I never watched that movie before. I saw the modern ones. And wasn't Peter Lawford in the Rat Pack as well? It was those three plus Peter Lawford, right? But anyway, I'm going to check out that Ocean's movie. I need to make it a point to watch the classic one, I think. Yeah, so anyway, but yes, I really enjoyed watching you last night. It's Yael. Yael. I really enjoy. Oh, by the way, I'm so sorry. Helen Cole, thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. I'm going to say I'm definitely one of your group. Very, very sweet, very kind. Thank you. And thank you so much. It was so entertaining. The fabric journal book, I would have never thought to do anything like that. But that was very interesting. And I was, okay, I'll tell you what I was doing last night. I was working on my files, which I mentioned when I first started. I needed to label things that I need for work. So I labeled all the photos and everything. So when I do these, let me show you. When I do like this one, since I group these photos together, if I talk about this again, I'll do a screenshot that I created for the slide. And then that way, when I need to talk about it again, I don't have to go and get the individual photos. I'll have them all together. So I'm trying to find another good example of that. But yeah, and so some of these screenshots, like this one, this is like individual photos. Well, I did a screenshot so I could save it all together. So if I want to do it again, like I did today, I didn't have to piece it together. And so that goes in the file labeled under William. And so I have one for William, Kate, Meghan. Well, Meghan and Harry, everything just goes under Meghan. But I could also put Harry in the in another part of the file. So if I just search anything Harry, then, anything that it recognizes as Harry will come up. And that is very time consuming. So I think I spent about 6 hours last night just sitting there labeling photos and files so that when I need it, I could find it. So I'll probably save this one in case I need it again. And This one I'll probably save because I'll probably have to make fun of him one day. But yeah, so that's how I do it. And also, I save a lot of the thumbnails in case I want to use them again. And yeah, so that's how that works. And that takes a lot of time. So while I was doing that, I was listening to you. So thank you. I enjoyed it. I'll leave it right here. This is that photo I took when I was in the UK. But yeah, you guys, please go over to Yael's channel and make sure you like and subscribe and share. I just love it. And if you love listening to a beautiful French accent, and just a very sweet conversation, then that is the place to go. I will definitely be over there, especially those days when I need to feel a little joy, when I need to be in good company. I'll come and check it out for sure. So that was a nice little surprise yesterday. Matter of fact, why don't I give you guys a little sample? I think I could do that.
Hello, long time no see. I'm back. And today I'm going to do a video. I'm going to talk about something I didn't expect to do that. I had many.
Don't you love it? Don't you love it? That is so sweet. I love that. The Royal Sussex, he is such a imbecile. Oh man, I just love that. Thank you so much, Yao. But yeah, so cool. See, this is what happens in the squad. Sometimes you thank you. Thanks to you all, rather. Merci. What is that? Parle. That's right. It is. It certainly is. Oh man, I should be embarrassed because someone gave me a book where I can at least learn some French, and I haven't been through it yet, but I am going to get to that very soon. So, but yeah, isn't it weird listening to yourself on somebody else's channel?
How Prince Harry usually talks in his interviews, or even if you watch the documentary on Netflix, you can see how he speaks and his expressions and his way of saying the things. We recognize that.
Oh, it's Jael. Jael. Okay, Jael. Thank you, Jael. Yes, as per usual, butchering the French language. But if you think my French is bad, you ought to hear my German. And I try to stay away from Spanish because the last time I tried to speak Spanish, there was almost a race riot, and I don't want to do that again. So my Spanish has almost gotten me charged with a hate crime. Let me see here. Oh man. Okay, you guys. I think we should wrap it up now. I definitely wasn't thinking I was going to go 3 hours today, although it has been very, very fun. Oh yeah, it is. I heard myself on someone else's show one day, and I'm just like, oh my God, I sound awful. No, it was just, I was surprised to hear myself. It didn't sound bad. I've gotten used to hearing my own voice, so it doesn't surprise me anymore. Okay. Yes, it is time to cue the Ginger Avenger. And yeah, thank you guys for going over there to subscribe. That is very, very sweet. I love the way the Sussex squad takes care of each other. Welcome, Ronnie. We're just about to wrap it up, but thanks for being here anyway. Let me see. Spanish is easier than French and German. Now, see, I thought Italian was easier. Italian seems so much easier to me because, yeah, it just does. It seems easier to me. Maybe because Italian and Latin is so close, right, or something. Let's see. Oh, Teresa, thank you so much for the, I'm sorry, Therese. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching. Oh, is it Terry's? Oh, gosh, I'm confusing myself. But thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, really? Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It sounds a bit twangy and obnoxious to me, but if you like it, I love it. Oh, Jael is Jewish. Okay, Jael. Okay, thank you so much for that. L'chaim, thank you. What else do we have here? Okay, I think we're good. Have a good night. Wonderful day. Mods, forget to tip the wait staff. Snuggles. Yes, and don't forget to turn out the lights on your way out. Last call for alcohol. You don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here. Okay, so with that, let us always give our thanks to our faves, our Queen of Hearts and our Queen of Everything. And of course, they are the ones that made the most influential couple in the world possible. Oh, man. Can you believe I was at the Trooping the Colors? That was 2018. But there I was. I just saw the Sussexes on their wedding day go by in a carriage. And I was still there to see the Trooping the Colors. So that was a real treat. All right. Okay. Oh, and I tell you too, I saw that guy. Well, I already told you guys that I saw that super fan of the royal family. The little guy always wears the hats and buttons, and he's got all the flags and stuff at every event. I saw that Fruit Loop. He was a lot of fun. I said, "You're the super fan, right?" "No, I'm a royal supporter." "Yes, I'm a royal supporter." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Frodo." He was so little, I could have put him in my shirt pocket. Okay, so you guys, I am going to cue the Ginger Avenger. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. And thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you, Mod Squad. And I will see you all tomorrow. Let's see, where are we here? Oh my God, Jael, I'm gonna have to go and I really got to dig through your videos because I see you have one Paris to Heidelberg. That was 5 years ago. You have a lot of material up there. A lot of material. So yeah, you guys, when you go to her channel, make sure you really dig through the videos because if you don't like one thing, she has all kind of stuff that she's done. Good for you. You have been very, very busy. How many videos do you have? You have a lot of videos. There's some arts and craft videos. There's some music. There's a lot of stuff here. This is very nice. I like this. Very, very nice. Heart of Dixie. Okay. A Lebanese lunch and post office, Rue de Passy. Well, Jael, if you are Lebanese, we still like you. As a matter of fact, I have a cousin that's Lebanese, and if two women want to be together, then I I'm just kidding. I know you mean Lebanon, not. See, I'm getting tired. I should have got off a little while ago because now I'm starting to get weird. But okay. All right, I'm starting to get weird. I probably need to eat something. So anyway, y'all go over there and check it out. I'm still scrolling through and there's just so much stuff here. So I'm looking forward to taking a deep dive into some of these videos because she's got a bunch of stuff here. So it should be very, very interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, you guys, that's it. We did our ginger adventure, and I will see you all tomorrow. Oh man, let's see. Go to bed before you say something. You too. I know, I know. Actually, you know what? I got that from Golden Girls. If you guys remember, Blanche Devereaux said, "Well, isn't Danny Thomas one?" Oh man. So yeah, that was an episode of Golden Girls. Wow, 17 years? That is very cool. That is very cool. Let me see here. I'm so impressed. You got so many videos. You got so many videos. So like I'm looking at one from 7 years ago. That is cool. Wow, that is a lot of work. Well, I hope more people find your channel. I see you've had quite a few viewers. It looks like not everybody's subscribed, but that's every channel. You'll be amazed at how many people watch your videos but never subscribe. So you've had your channel since 2010. That is impressive. That is very impressive. So you're on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram. You have a blog spot and Tumblr. That is very cool. I love it. I am inspired. Okay, guys, thank you. Please go over. The link is at the top of the comments. JL's channel is looking for new subscribers, likes, and shares. So do that, and you can listen to her very adorable, sweet personality. She's very lovable, and I am looking forward to her keeping me company when I got work to do and when I need to just see or experience something different from the usual stuff that I watch. So looking forward to it. What's that? Update the food truck? Well, if you want, I will. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer. Connie Balmer's here. Hi, Connie Balmer. I was just saying earlier, you missed it, that I would love to get rid of Florida. And one of the countries that I wouldn't mind joining us, although you'd rather be happy than be part of the United States. But if we can get rid of Florida and take Switzerland, I'd like that. But I wouldn't do that to the Swiss. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to, well, there's a few countries I wouldn't do that to. Even places I don't like, I wouldn't do that to Russia. Okay. That's how I feel about it. I wouldn't even do that to Russia. This is kind of a wacky country. I don't think anybody who's not familiar with it should bother. Okay, guys, that's it. I'm going to log out. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.